The sharp sound of a slap echoed through the small, poorly lit restaurant. Monica stumbled forward, almost losing her balance. Her cheek stung, her vision blurred with shock and humiliation. The entire room fell silent for a second, as if even the ceiling fan stopped spinning just to witness the disgrace. Laughter broke out, loud, cruel, and mocking. 3 young men sat near the window, their flashy suits doing little to cover the ugliness of their behavior. One had just slapped Monica's backside as she turned away from taking their orders. Another had yanked her long hair with such force she almost fell. Now they sat grinning like they'd just won a game. Their voices rang out like poison. "Poor waitress," Jonathan sneered. "You're not even strong enough for this job." "That is the truth," Emeka joined in with a smirk. "How will you now satisfy customers that want extra service in the private rooms, huh?" Their laughter roared through the restaurant again. Monica was still on the floor, stunned. The tray had crashed beside her. Her hair was messy, her knees scraped, but worse than all that was the feeling in her chest, the deep ache. She wasn't angry yet. She was heartbroken. And then it got worse. From behind the counter, Madame Adana, the restaurant owner, snapped, "Will you get up and stop embarrassing this place, Monica? Customers are always right. Or are you too weak for this $30 job too?" The words cut deeper than the slap. But just as Monica tried to rise, her eyes caught someone standing slowly from a corner table, a man in a brown checkered shirt with glasses and kind eyes. He had been quietly eating alone. Now his face was tight with fury. "Madam," he said calmly, "you can't be serious. You just saw what they did to her." "Mr. Maxwell, or whatever your name is," Adana said, waving her hand, "please don't bring sentiment into business. This is a restaurant, not a court." Maxwell ignored her and walked toward Monica. He bent down, offered his hand, and gently helped her up. His voice was firm, yet soft. "Are you all right?" Monica nodded weakly. Her lips trembled. She still hadn't said a word. "Touch her again." Maxwell turned to the men, "and you'll leave this place in cuffs." The young men rolled their eyes. "Look at this broke hero," David snorted. "Trying to impress a waitress," but Maxwell didn't flinch. He helped Monica to her seat and gave her a bottle of water. "You don't have to stay here," he told her gently. "This isn't your only option." She gave him a long look. Something in his tone made her believe him. And then, just before leaving, the young men decided to throw one last insult. Jonathan leaned in with a fake smile. "In case you both broke people care to know, we're petrochemical engineers. We work for Williams Oil and Gas, Abuja headquarters. You're not even in our league." They walked out, leaving behind a storm of silence. What they didn't know, what nobody in that restaurant knew, was that Monica Williams, the poor waitress, was the only daughter of Chief Williams Benjamin, the billionaire CEO of the same Williams Oil and Gas. She could buy the restaurant they sat in 10 times over. She could fire every one of those boys with a single phone call, but she didn't. She just sat there quietly, sipping the water Maxwell gave her, and smiled. Monica Williams was born with everything money could buy: private tutors, diamond necklaces before her 10th birthday. Her face graced tabloids. She had traveled to over 20 countries before she turned 18. Her father, Chief Williams Benjamin, was one of the wealthiest oil magnates in West Africa. But at age 30, Monica cried herself to sleep more often than not. Behind the designer clothes and flashy cars was a lonely heart. A heart that had been lied to, used and tossed aside. Every man who claimed to love her wanted one thing: her money, her status, her family name. No one ever saw her, just the wealth around her. So, one night, she packed a small bag, she changed her hair, wore old clothes, and left her mansion. Her heart ached, but her mind was made up. She needed to know. Could someone love her if they didn't know who she really was? The next morning, she walked into a struggling restaurant on the outskirts of Abuja. She told Madame Adana she needed a job. Anything. Adana didn't look up. "Can you clean?" "Yes, ma." "Can you carry trays?" "Yes, ma." $30 a month. "No sleeping here." "You're not allowed to eat customer leftovers." And if you're late, I deduct $10. You still want it?" Monica nodded. Adana looked up, surprised. She stared at the girl with long hair and soft eyes. She didn't look like someone who needed this job, but she shrugged. "Wear this apron and start now." And just like that, the heiress to a billion-dollar empire became a waitress with no last name. In the following days, Monica faced it all. Shouting, insults, spills, burns, rude customers, and aching feet. Adana never stopped yelling. "Monica, you forgot to say sir to that customer. You are too slow. Maybe this job is not for you. You broke the glass. That's $5 from your pay." Each word cut her down, but Monica swallowed every insult. She kept her head low, because her mission was simple, to see the world through the eyes of the poor and to find love that had nothing to do with status. She cleaned the toilets. She wiped tables. She smiled through pain. Every night, she went back to a small room she rented and stared at a picture of her parents. Her mother had cried when she told them her plan. "You will be in danger, Monica." Her father refused to speak to her for 2 days, but eventually they gave in under one condition. She had to stay in touch through a private line. Her father hired private security to keep watch from a distance. She never knew they were there. He didn't want his only child harmed. And still the days dragged. Nothing exciting happened. Until Maxwell showed up. That same evening after the incident, Maxwell walked Monica to her rented room. "I'm sorry you had to go through that today," he said. Monica smiled a little. "I've gone through worse." He paused. "I'd like to do something for you. I don't have much, but I can help you get into a tech program. I teach robotics. I've seen how smart and polite you are. You don't deserve to be in that place." Monica looked up at him, genuinely touched. "No one has ever offered me help without asking something in return," she whispered. "Well," Maxwell said with a chuckle, "I'm not like most people." They shared a laugh, and silence followed. It was a good kind of silence. He gently asked for her number, and she gave it. Before leaving, Maxwell turned. "Please resign. I'll help you find a better place." "I will," she said. "Tomorrow," Monica said. That night, Maxwell couldn't sleep. He called her. "I know it's late," he said softly, "but I had to say it. I think I like you. A lot." Monica's heart skipped. "I'm just a poor girl, Maxwell," she whispered. "No degree, no future." "That's not what I see. I see someone smart, strong, someone worth every effort." Tears welled up in Monica's eyes. She finally spoke. "Pick me up tomorrow. I got a new cleaning job at the Williams mansion. Come get me there. Let's start fresh." The next morning, Maxwell dressed in his best shirt. He arrived at the mansion and nervously told the gatekeeper, "I'm here to see Monica. She works here." The guard smiled. "Ah, Madam Monica. She said you were coming. Please, go in. She's in the sitting room." Maxwell froze. "Madam? Sitting room?" As he walked in, nothing could prepare him for what he saw. Monica sat on a velvet couch, sipping orange juice from a crystal glass. Her pajamas looked more expensive than his entire wardrobe. Her hair was tied neatly in a royal bun. She looked like someone from a magazine cover. Maxwell blinked. "Monica?" Before she could speak, Chief Williams entered with his wife. The moment he saw Maxwell, he walked up to him with a warm handshake. "Welcome, Mr. Maxwell. Monica told us about you. We've looked into your tech work. It's impressive." Maxwell's jaw dropped. Monica stood up. Her voice calm, elegant, and proud. "You're wondering what's going on, right?" She smiled. "I'm Monica Williams, the only daughter of Chief Williams Benjamin, heiress of the Williams Empire. I went undercover to find something money can't buy, and I found you." Maxwell couldn't speak. Tears rolled down his face. Yesterday he'd defended a waitress. Today he stood before royalty. And Monica? She was no longer the poor girl. She was the woman he loved. Maxwell sat frozen, the weight of Monica's truth pressing down like 1,000 bricks. The giant chandelier above them twinkled, the smell of lavender and luxury floated in the air, but Maxwell felt like the floor might give way beneath him. Monica, now standing, walked over and held his hand. Her touch was calm, reassuring. "I didn't lie to hurt you," she said gently. "I wanted to find someone who could see me for me. Not the company, not the wealth, not the name or fame." Chief Williams stepped forward with a knowing smile. "Believe me, young man, I tried to stop her from doing this undercover poor girl experiment, but it turns out she was right. She found something priceless." Maxwell glanced down, still overwhelmed. I'm just a robotics teacher. I live in a 2-bedroom flat. I have student debt. I don't belong here." Chief Williams chuckled. "Maxwell, wealth doesn't make someone belong. Integrity does." Monica knelt beside him, took his hands in hers. "You made me feel seen, protected, even when I was nothing but a low-paid waitress. That's all I ever wanted. I want us to build something real, if you're willing." Maxwell's lips quivered as tears welled up again. He managed a whisper. "Then I'm all in." Monica wasted no time. She asked her father for a quiet favor. At the Williams Oil and Gas Abuja headquarters, a formal HR email went out. "Jonathan Uche, David Bello, and Emeka Johnson report to the executive floor at 11 o'clock a.m. sharp." The 3 young men were already laughing in the break room. "Bro, last night's party was mad," Jonathan boasted. "There are some fine girls there." "Unlike that clumsy waitress." David leaned back. "I still can't believe that idiot Maxwell defended her. Waste of a man." Emeka smirked. "Broke guys always fall for broke girls. They are perfect match." At 10:55 a.m., they strutted into the executive lobby, laughing. But the moment they stepped into the meeting room, their laughter died. Sitting at the head of the table was Chief Williams himself, and beside him, Monica, dressed elegantly. She looked nothing like the waitress they humiliated. She wore a fitted navy blue suit, diamond earrings, and a cold, unreadable expression. Her posture alone screamed power. "Good morning, gentlemen," Chief Williams said evenly. "Good morning, sir," they stammered. David's voice cracked. Are we being promoted?" Chief Williams raised a brow. "Do you remember a certain waitress you harassed at a restaurant last week?" Jonathan chuckled nervously. "I mean, maybe? A lot of girls serve us." Monica's lips curled slightly. "So, I wasn't memorable?" They all froze. "You?" Emeka whispered. "You're the waitress?" "Was," she replied calmly. "Now, I'm your boss." The room spun. Chief Williams's voice turned stern. "My daughter went undercover to experience real life. What she found instead was abuse, disrespect, and shame, brought on by people representing this company." Jonathan dropped his phone. "We're sorry," David stuttered. "We didn't know." "You shouldn't need to know someone's status to treat them like a human being," Monica snapped. Chief Williams nodded. "Effective immediately, your appointments are terminated." "Please, sir, please," they cried, falling to their knees. Monica stood and looked at them without emotion. "This isn't revenge. This is consequence." Security entered. And just like that, the young men were escorted out, their laughter replaced with tears. Back at the Williams mansion, Madame Adana stood at the gate in an old wrapper, her eyes puffy from crying. She clutched her hands like a schoolgirl caught stealing. The guards were about to turn her away when Monica stepped outside. Adana dropped to her knees immediately. "My daughter, please. I had no idea it was you. If I had known—" "That's the problem, Madame Adana," Monica cut in, voice calm but sharp. "Why should you need to know who someone is before treating them with basic respect?" Adana sobbed. "I'm sorry, I was wrong. I was wicked. I didn't mean it." Monica's mother stepped beside her, placing a hand on her daughter's shoulder. "Monica, forgiveness is more powerful than punishment." Monica sighed, then knelt down. "You taught me something, Madame Adana. You taught me how the poor are truly treated. You were the mirror I didn't want to see, and maybe, That's why I don't hate you." Adana's hands trembled. "So you forgive me?" "I forgive you," Monica said. "But change how you treat people, even if they have holes in their clothes." "Yes, I swear." "Thank you," Adana cried. Monica helped her up. Sometimes forgiveness makes more noise than revenge ever can. 1 week later, Monica and Maxwell stood on the rooftop of her father's mansion, gazing over the city lights. She wore a soft, flowing gown. He wore a modest button-up shirt. He looked at her like she was the only thing in the world. "I feel like I'm dreaming," he whispered. "You're not," she smiled. "This is real." Maxwell took a deep breath. "Monica, I want to walk this life with you. Whether you're a waitress or a billionaire, whether we live in a mansion or a mini-flat, I just want you." He dropped to one knee. Monica gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. "I may not have a diamond ring right now, but I have a diamond heart. Will you marry me?" Tears streamed down her cheeks. "Yes. 1,000,000 times yes." From the shadows, her parents clapped. Her father's eyes secretly wet with pride. Monica soon joined Maxwell in his small but brilliant tech lab. Together they worked day and night to launch a device designed to bring educational tools to children in Africa's poorest communities. Chief Williams, proud beyond words, funded the project. And in an emotional press conference, Maxwell Tech and Williams Oil and Gas announced the joint venture Future First Africa. Within months, countries like Ghana, Kenya, and Rwanda signed on. Tech companies called, awards poured in. But for Monica and Maxwell, the biggest win wasn't the millions. It was the mission, the love and the peace. But just as things felt perfect, a call came in. Monica picked it up, her smile slowly fading. Maxwell walked in. "Everything okay?" She looked at him, troubled. "That was from my father's lawyer." "What happened?" Monica swallowed hard. "There's been a leak. Someone is trying to blackmail my father, and they say I'm the reason." Maxwell's face dropped. "What do you mean?" She turned toward the window, watching the city lights. "I think someone followed me during my undercover time, and they're about to destroy everything we've built." Maxwell stepped closer. "We'll fight it together." But Monica's voice dropped. "No, Max, this time, I think it's personal." The mansion was no longer calm. What had once been a home filled with joy and celebration now simmered with silent tension. Monica stared at the large screen in her father's private office. It displayed a blurry photo. Her, dressed in her waitress uniform, cleaning the floors of Adana's restaurant. Another photo followed. Monica crouched behind the kitchen counter, her hair messy, her hands burned from a hot tray. And then the final blow. A video clip of Monica being slapped and harassed by the 3 men, the audio painfully clear. Their crude laughter, her silence, Madame Adana's harsh voice. It was all there. Everything. A deep voice cut through the tension. "They sent this to me anonymously," Chief Williams said, arms crossed, voice controlled but furious, "and they said if I don't wire 50 million naira to an offshore account within 48 hours, they'll leak it to the press with a fabricated story claiming I abused you and forced you to work like a slave while covering it up." Monica's mouth went dry. "They want to ruin the company. They want to shame us." "No," her father replied grimly. "They want to destroy you, Monica. You are the heiress. They want to make you look like the victim of your own family's cruelty. They want the world to believe your own father forced you into poverty." Maxwell paced beside them, fists clenched. "This is insane. Who would do this?" "I have a feeling," Monica whispered. "Someone must have followed me during my time at the restaurant. Someone who knew I wasn't just any girl." Chief Williams pulled out an envelope and tossed it on the table. Inside were stills from CCTV footage taken near the restaurant over several weeks. Someone had been tailing her, wearing caps, changing clothes, blending in. But one face showed too clearly, Jonathan, one of the 3 young men who had humiliated her. "You're telling me Jonathan had the nerve to spy on you?" Maxwell asked, stunned. Monica nodded slowly. "It makes sense. He worked for Williams Oil and Gas. He must have recognized me somewhere. Or maybe he got suspicious after our encounter." Her father stood up. I want him found. Now. That evening, Monica sat in a downtown cafe, dressed in a hoodie and dark sunglasses. She held her phone tightly, her face cold but composed. Across the table, Maxwell sat with a laptop, watching live footage from a security drone positioned 2 streets away. They had leaked word through a dummy email account, pretending Monica was scared and willing to pay the money in person. At exactly 6:42 p.m., Jonathan walked into the cafe. No cap, no disguise, just a smug face and a phone in his hand. He walked over, slid into the seat across from her, and leaned in. "You're braver than I thought," he sneered. "Meeting me here." Monica didn't flinch. "You're dumber than I thought, risking your career." "Your life," Jonathan smirked. "Career? That's gone thanks to you. You humiliated us. Do you think people forget being dragged out like criminals? I lost everything. So your plan is to destroy mine?" Monica asked. "Oh, sweet Monica," he said, almost laughing. "You're not the only one with connections. Someone higher up is helping me. Someone inside Williams Oil and Gas wants your father gone." "You're just the beginning." Maxwell's voice crackled in her earpiece. "Monica, don't react. Just hold him talking. The police are 3 minutes away." She steadied her breath. "So, who is this person helping you?" Jonathan chuckled, his eyes gleaming. "Oh, come on, you think I'd tell you just like that?" But then he leaned closer and whispered, "You know the name, Monica. We all do. He's been watching you since you were 16. Suddenly, Monica froze. A name flickered through her memory, a former executive her father fired years ago for financial misconduct. A man who once tried to partner with her father and was humiliated in front of the board when the deal fell apart. A man whose own son. No. Monica's eyes widened. "You mean Mr. Danladi?" Jonathan smirked. "I didn't say anything." And just then, police burst in. The cafe doors burst open. Jonathan tried to run, but 2 plainclothes officers tackled him to the ground. It was over. Back at the mansion, Monica's parents listened carefully as she explained what Jonathan had revealed. "Mr. Danladi is back," Chief Williams muttered, pacing. "I knew he'd try something someday, but I didn't expect this level of cunning." Monica looked shaken. "He was always too ambitious. And bitter. When you fired him, didn't he say something like, 'Your daughter will one day pay for your arrogance'?" Her father nodded. "That day was 11 years ago." Maxwell asked quietly, "But why now?" Her mother responded, "Because Monica is finally being seen in public again. After years of staying quiet, she's suddenly active, running campaigns, launching new projects. She's visible again. And he wants to destroy her image before she can rise," Chief Williams added. The next morning, newspapers carried a different story. Hero waitress turned heiress catches corporate blackmailer. The public was in awe. But inside the walls of an empty skyscraper in Lagos, a man in a grey suit watched the headlines. His fingers tapped the glass desk slowly. His eyes were sharp, calculating. Mr. Danladi. "Congratulations, Monica," he said to himself with a smile. "You win the first round. But this is just the beginning." Later that night, there was a glimmer of hope. Monica stood on the balcony of her room, her arms crossed. Maxwell joined her quietly. "Do you think it's over?" she asked. "No," he said honestly, "but I think you just won the first battle." Monica turned to him. "If I had told you the truth about who I was in the beginning, would you have stayed?" Maxwell didn't even hesitate. "I didn't fall in love with your name. I fell in love with your kindness, your heart, the way you cried in the back room after being insulted, and still got up to serve the next customer." Monica smiled, tears gathering. He continued, "It wasn't your wealth that made you special. It was your ability to remain humble through it all. I loved the woman behind the apron." She leaned on him. "And now the girl behind the empire loves you back." But just as they exhaled, Monica's phone buzzed. It was from the Williams Oil and Gas internal server. A new video had been uploaded anonymously, and it was already spreading. Maxwell looked over her shoulder. His face fell. On the screen was a doctored video showing Monica throwing money at restaurant staff and laughing cruelly. It wasn't real, but it looked real enough. "Maxwell," Monica whispered, panic rising. "This is bad." Her voice cracked. "They're trying to turn the public against me." Maxwell's fists clenched. "Then we fight harder." Monica turned toward the window, a storm now brewing in her eyes. "They wanted war," she said slowly. "They'll get it." The video exploded online. Across Nigeria and even parts of East Africa, the doctored clip of Monica went viral. In it, she was seen laughing heartlessly, throwing money at the feet of restaurant workers who cowered in the corner. Her voice had been altered to say, "This is what you deserve, you peasants." By morning, hashtags were trending. Monica the bully, William's empire exposed, spoilt heiress gone mad. Headlines screamed accusations. Billionaire daughter disrespects the poor. Is this the real Monica? From waitress to witch? Viral video sparks outrage. And Monica, she sat in her room, staring at her screen. Her chest tightened with each new headline. "This is not me," she whispered. "This is not who I am." Maxwell was already in action, coordinating with their in-house tech security team, calling trusted journalists, trying to trace the source of the leak. But public opinion had turned fast. Even international blogs picked up the story. Some former acquaintances and socialites began adding fuel to the fire, saying things like, "I always knew she looked down on people. This is who she truly is." Inside Williams Oil and Gas headquarters, Chief Williams had called an emergency board meeting. The mood was tense. Investors were jittery. Brand partners were threatening to withdraw. Charities funded by the company were receiving angry emails from the public. "Monica must release a statement," one board member insisted. "If she doesn't, this company may fall." Chief Williams slammed the table. "My daughter was framed. You all know the kind of person she is, but the world doesn't." Another barked. "In the public eye, perception is reality." The room erupted in heated debate. Monica watched from behind the glass, unseen. Her fingers curled into fists. She wasn't just angry. She was heartbroken. Not because people doubted her, but because evil was winning. And she wasn't going to allow it. Meanwhile, the trap deepens. In an abandoned office in Lekki, Mr. Danladi was on a private call. "Monica's public image is collapsing," he said with calm satisfaction. "One more push and she'll lose her credibility forever." The voice on the other end crackled. "Are you sure this is enough to destroy her father too?" "Trust me," Danladi smiled. "Once the world sees Monica as arrogant and power-drunk, people will begin to ask, what kind of father raised her? The Williams name will crumble, slowly, surely." He hung up and turned toward the shadows. Behind him stood a familiar figure. "Jonathan." "Was the deep fake convincing enough?" Jonathan asked. Danladi smiled. "Almost too real. You've done well." But Jonathan was uneasy. "What if she proves it's fake?" Danladi's eyes glinted. "She'll try. But by the time she does, the damage will already be done." Later that night, Monica stood on the rooftop with her parents and Maxwell. She was silent for a long time, then finally spoke. "I want to hold a press conference tomorrow." Her mother's eyes widened. "Are you sure, darling? The media will rip you apart." "I won't defend myself," Monica replied. "What?" Chief Williams snapped. "You must defend yourself." She looked at him. "Let me finish, Daddy. I won't defend myself with words. I'll do it with proof." Maxwell stepped forward. "We traced the IP address of the uploader. It came from a private server connected to Danladi's offshore companies." Her father's eyes narrowed. "So, it's time." Monica nodded. "It's time." Dozens of media houses gathered at the Williams Tech Auditorium the next day. The room was packed. Cameras pointed toward the stage. Commentators whispered. Monica walked out in a simple white suit, no makeup, no jewelry, just her, calm and real. She stood before the microphone and let the silence hang. Then she spoke. A video is circulating online, a video of me doing something I've never done, singing words I've never said. She paused. The crowd watched, some skeptical, some waiting to be convinced. I won't tell you it's fake, she continued. I'll show you. The screen behind her lit up. Side-by-side comparisons of the viral video and her real footage from the restaurant security cameras. Audio waveforms, timestamps, analysis reports from international digital forensic labs confirming it was a deepfake. Journalists gasped. The crowd shifted in stunned silence. And then Monica dropped the hammer. My father's former partner, Mr. Dan Laddie, who was dismissed 11 years ago for embezzlement, is behind this. And as of this morning, we have filed a full lawsuit against him for blackmail, cyberterrorism, and defamation. The reporters exploded with questions. Monica raised a hand. I went undercover because I wanted to feel what the average Nigerian feels. I wanted to understand humility, suffering, and truth. I didn't do it for a story. I did it because I was tired of not knowing who I really was outside wealth. She looked straight into the cameras. I was a waitress, and I was humiliated. And still, I found love. I found kindness. From people like Maxwell, from people who had nothing to gain from me. And then she smiled. I have nothing to hide, and I have nothing to prove, except the truth. The room erupted in applause. By evening, the hashtags had changed. We stand with Monica, truth over lies, Monica the brave. The deepfake expose became a national conversation. Activists, feminists, and tech professionals rallied behind her. Cyber experts were invited to TV stations to explain deepfakes. A bill was proposed in the National Assembly to regulate the use of AI and protect people from what Monica suffered. Even the president released a statement applauding Monica's bravery. Mr. Dan Laddie, meanwhile, had gone underground. But the law was closing in. Monica and Maxwell were walking out of a charity event one night. Security was tight, but somehow, someone slipped through. A man stepped forward. It was Emeka, one of the original 3 bullies. He looked thinner, desperate, eyes bloodshot. Monica, please, he whispered. They're coming for you next. Dan Laddie has more videos, more plans, and he's not alone. There's someone inside your company feeding him everything. Monica froze. What are you talking about? Emeka shook his head rapidly. I can't say more. If he knows I warned you, I'm dead. Just watch your back. He said the next move will destroy your entire family. And then he disappeared into the crowd. Monica stood still. Maxwell held her shoulders. A traitor inside. More plans? Her family in danger? She turned to Maxwell. This isn't over, she said quietly. Not yet. Monica couldn't sleep that night. Emeka's warning replayed in her mind like a haunting melody. Someone inside your company is feeding him everything. At 2:47 a.m., she was still wide awake, sitting cross-legged on the floor of her bedroom, files scattered around her. Maxwell joined her, his eyes heavy with sleep, but his heart alert. We need to start from the inside, Monica said firmly. Every department, every division, every person who had access to those private meetings. Then we'll start now, Maxwell replied. And they did. By morning, the investigation had begun. Quiet, careful and strategic. Chief Williams assembled a small, trusted team. The head of cybersecurity, a former DSS officer on retainer, and a private forensic analyst flown in from Kenya. They traced all employee communications over the past 3 months. It didn't take long. The mole was someone no one expected. Chika, Monica's long-time personal assistant. The same woman who helped her adjust her apron during her undercover waitress job. The same one who comforted her after her first day of humiliation. The same one who pretended to care. When confronted, she cracked fast. Tears poured down her face. I didn't want to hurt you, Chika sobbed. I was blackmailed. He threatened my family. Chief Williams stood like stone. You leaked Monica's undercover footage? Chika nodded. Yes, but I didn't know he would go this far. He paid me at first, then he started sending threats. He said if I stopped helping him, he'd ruin me. Monica looked at her, quiet, calm. And you didn't think to come to us? I was afraid, Chica screamed. Maxwell stepped forward. Did he say what his next move was? Chica hesitated, then said something that sent chills through the room. He has a secret file. He called it The Fall of the Williams Empire, and it's set to go live in 48 hours. Across every major TV station in the country, the Williams family wasted no time. With the evidence from Chica, they alerted the National Cyber Crimes Unit, but the team agreed legal processes alone wouldn't be fast enough to stop the broadcast. Someone had to go in. That someone was Monica. She had a plan. It was bold, risky, and dangerous. She'd called Dan Laddie, tell him she wanted to negotiate, offer him a public apology and a large settlement in exchange for deleting the file and walking away. He wouldn't resist, because Dan Laddie's weakness was pride. The meeting was set at a private luxury hotel in Victoria Island. Monica entered the penthouse suite wearing all black, flanked only by Maxwell and 2 undercover security agents. Dan Laddie stood by the window, wineglass in hand. His eyes were gleaming. I must admit, he said, you are braver than I thought. I didn't come to fight, Monica replied, cold. I came to save my family name. He smiled like a snake. Good, because if this file drops, the entire country will turn against your father. The oil contracts, the international licenses, they'll all vanish. 1 click, Monica. That's all it takes. Monica nodded. Then she slowly opened her purse, pulled out a tiny tablet. She tapped a button, and the wall behind Dan Laddie lit up. A hidden projector revealed a live screen recording of Dan Laddie's own device, being hacked in real time. What? What is this? He snapped, turning. Monica walked forward. You made one mistake, she said coolly. You underestimated me. Dan Laddie's eyes went wide. She continued. You thought I was just the heiress, the spoiled girl, but I'm also the co-founder of Future First Africa, the most advanced educational tech system on the continent. You think I wouldn't have the tools to trace your every move? Dan Laddie lunged for his phone, but it was too late. Monica's team had accessed everything. Emails, blackmail files, bank transfers, voice recordings, every plan, every threat. And one more thing, a pre-recorded confession from Chica played loudly through the hotel speaker system. Dan Laddie froze. Maxwell stepped forward. The police are downstairs. You're done. For the first time, Dan Laddie looked afraid. Dan Laddie was arrested on charges of cyber-terrorism, blackmail and corporate espionage. Jonathan and others in the blackmail ring were rounded up too and arraigned, and all sentenced to 20 years in prison. And for the first time in weeks, the news was filled with hope. Monica Williams exposes underground cyber ring. The empire stands tall. People apologized publicly, bloggers retracted statements, influencers who once mocked her now praised her. And Chica? She was spared prison time, but was sentenced to a community service and public apology. Monica personally ensured her family was safe because real power is mercy. Months later, the nation watched live as Monica and Maxwell walked down the aisle at a grand outdoor wedding in Abuja. Royalty attended, CEOs, presidents, scholars, inventors, but the most special moment came when Monica turned to her groom during her vows. I once thought love was impossible, that I'd always be seen as a name, a wallet, a stepping stone. But you, Maxwell, you saw me when I was on the floor, broken. You gave me hope when I had nothing. And now I will give you everything. The crowd stood and applauded with tears. Even Chief Williams wiped his eyes. 1 year later, a news anchor smiled brightly on the evening broadcast. Today, Maxwell Tech, in partnership with Williams Oil and Gas, has successfully launched its solar-powered education tablets in 6 African countries. Monica Williams Maxwell and her husband continue to change lives. The camera cut to Monica and Maxwell standing with a group of children under a mango tree in a rural village, teaching them how to use their new tablets. Monica's eyes sparkled. No apron, no disguise, no shame. Just a woman who went looking for love, found it in humility, and built an empire with truth and changing lives in rural areas of Africa. After 3 years of waiting, Monica and Williams welcomed twins, a baby girl and baby boy. And as the sun set behind them that evening, Monica turned to Maxwell and whispered, "We're just getting started." He smiled, kissed her forehead, and whispered back, "The world isn't ready for us." What is your view about this story? Where are you watching from? If you enjoy this story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.